Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back to a Requiem in London. In this particular scene, after the great seas, I hit the Bainforth Theatre home. Mr. Goodman has taken the time, not only just simply taken the time, almost has the need to look out for Nikolai due to their new relationship from drinking from him from the second time. He sent a message to him to choose a place to meet so they can discuss this particular relationship.
All right. Um, Let me just. I'm just getting my hunting roll done. But Nikolai would have given you axe. Basically, a instructions to meet him at a um on the rooftop of what seems to be a small, not so well maintained um parking garage. It's really late at night, so maybe there's only like 3 or 4 cars around, but for the most part, it's in an pretty much an abandoned part deep inside Invictus. Sorry, not Invictus, Ordo territory.
All right, he would arrive there. You'll notice that if you see him first, that he looks like he's kind of leaning over to one side, like he's kind of nursing something, maybe an injury.
Privet, I'll say as you walk up. My trust or eyes him carefully and then goes, but guess you had a run in of some sort?
I I needed your blood for a battle. I don't typically need it for anything else.
Why, what type of was this the whole
The
thing we
Vindictus and the Princedom came for Baneforth.
oh, so that is finally happening.
War started officially yesterday, as far as we are concerned.
Hmm. Sorry, for some reason it's not letting me roll my.
Give it a minute. It was slow yesterday. Oh, and you also need to put roll.
Huh? No, it's if you're rolling nines again, you type in nines again.
I thought you had to still roll, then nine again.
No, but I think I got to. Let's try it this way. Nope. Screw it. I'll just roll it regular and re-roll what I don't get. Being a baby. I'm going to re-roll one. But my guy's still a little hungry, but you can pass. You'll nod and go. Hmm. Things are going to be going fast now.
That
It
is
was
that is to be expected now.
I was surprised you came to me again.
I needed the blood. I wanted to be sure. I have been working on my hunting and I've been getting better, but this was important.
I I can understand that sentiment, but I suspect I know the reason for this call.
We are connected now, and you are in my thoughts a good portion of the time.
I This is how the Vampire Society works.
So my question is now is what are we?
That is the question, isn't it? I could increase this. Could see to it that we are something more. I could keep it us as casual friends. Of course, I could always use the muscle.
But you had my assistance as a member of the Ordo and a helpful ally. I would
Right.
not take it kindly if you were to abuse pulling on my chain.
Have I ever pressed this matter or tried pulling on the chain before?
No, I am taking what we are now much more seriously than what we were before.
No, you do not need to fear. I'm, uh, I've been in your situation plenty of times. I'm not without sympathy. I'm not some power mad or hungry tyrant. However, drinking from me a second time was your own choice.
It was.
I will not tiptoe around the matters in fear of hurting your feelings. I donated blood, and you knew well the consequences. I will not abuse you. I will not treat you with harm or any other matter. I will, as far as I'm concerned, our relationship hasn't really changed that much. You are an ally of mine. I may have a position of more power, but waves his hand like dismissively and says, I've never sought power before. My studies into the blood have never taken up much of my priority. I would offer a partnership of sorts, but I'm afraid I'm pledged to another.
He raises an eyebrow to that. I'm surprised you're willing to tell me, and I'm curious what does that mean about us and on top of that the Ordo then.
He gives a small shrug. Um, then says slowly, It was necessary. I do not believe it involves the Ordo in any way, outside of my own hopes to keep our covenant safe. I pledged myself in agreements to keep the city secure. The current prince needs to be dealt with. He moves against the Carthians long before he was moving against the Carthians long before this. All in an attempt to secure full power for himself. To remake the city his own image. He was a cancer weakening us from the inside. I've been to I've seen what he does. I've seen the truth of the matter. I was not going to act as brashly as Baneforth. But if the prince if the prince is allowed to continue what he's doing, the city will surely fall. I'm not pleased that we are going to all out war, not with the shadows chomping at the bits from the outside, but then gives a small shrug, but is what is.
He nods.
I'm telling you all this as a sign of good faith. I wish to make it clear that while this bond may be one sided, I still wish to show trust in you.
He nods and says, upon previous actions, and upon previous action and of not only your integrity, but your, let's say, integrity, I will take you on your word for that and not see this as malicious or hostile. As it's true, I did choose this particular connection on myself.
He nods slowly and goes, no. To address your whole hunting issues, I am working currently on a scale that may address those issues for you.
He raises an eyebrow to that. How so?
My my studies, as I've said before, now are in the studies of blood and our unique condition and how the vitate animates us. As he does, he'll just slowly raise and look at his own hand, studying it. Well, I'm no scientist. I have some practice in the less well known arcane arts. Nothing of the scale or quality of blood sorcery, but enough that with um, proper investment and time, I may be able to come up with something, a ritual of sort to preserve blood. I, once this is all settled and done with, I plan on making a vampire bar. He's just with a half cocked grin, like it's something really stupid and he's kind of embarrassed about. If my ritual, my scale should succeed, if this ritual and practice should come to fruition, I will be able to bottle and keep blood fresh.
He
Just
nods.
think, we and gets a smile. Just think, we could no more need to stalk the streets, no more desperate, hungry nights.
That can't be easy to maintain. And the problem is, even if you can maintain it, people find out what you do, they may grow jealous of it.
Not slowly. The more old, the older of us, the ones with a stronger blood, it'll be harder to maintain for. But for us younglings, for us new knights who are just starting out on this path, there are plenty of slaughterhouses around. There are plenty of places that drain away the useless blood. And for me, myself, I will perhaps have a practice to deal with my own feeding restrictions one of these days.
Okay.
He'll pause and look out to the city and go, I just want to let you know you'll always have an ally in me. I hope you understand that.
I will.
We're like family now, in my belief.
He
Because we
nods.
have blood sympathy. So, claps his hand. How went the fight?
Well, no one
Everybody
died on our
fine?
side.
Nods at that. This is a good thing.
Well,
Baneforth got away or relatively unscratched,
no,
alive.
he's actually pretty beat up, but he got aid from his covenant, so I think he'll be all right.
Well, the Lancium Sanctum stepped in to save him or help him.
I
Rubs
believe
his
so.
chin at that. This is an interesting development, to say the least. Political ramifications. I assume this assault was done by the Archons themselves.
Most of them are there. We almost killed one of them, but I was told that we have decided against that, and they were starting to overrun us, so we fell back.
Still, if this Lancium Sanctum showed their hand like this and aided and sorry and aided Baneforth, That is one more covenant to turn against the Invictus. With them, it's both the Carthians and Lansing Sanctum. I have very little doubt that the um or sorry, I have very little doubt that the circle will also will also rebel, given the current circumstances, especially if it comes to the light that certain matters come to light. I'll just say that. The question now is where our covenant remains. I assume
Nice.
both you and Marcus were in the thick of things.
We were. I assume the Ordo is going to do what it always does: survive and adapt. The problem is, will me and Marcus be part of that adaptation?
Scratches the back of his head. A few of the Carthians will gain power after this war is done and over with. But how long they'll hold it is the real question. As much as I admire their ideals, their bravo-ness, their whatever you Englishmen like to call it, they have never really been a united front.
I really don't care who's in power as long as they aren't making the world a living hell. Or at least if they are going to make the world a living hell, keep it in a certain block. Which to a point the Invictus did. And though I don't agree, for a lot of reasons, experiment on the weak and the desperate and the homeless, gotta get bodies somewhere. And unfortunately, which I do agree with what Dr. Moreau said, they aren't willing to really think about causing the least amount of suffering. Which I do agree. I also agree that we should try to work on that so we can bring up a happier front for the Ordo, and not simply look like the Machiavellian mercenaries that we, to a point, are.
Claps his hand. So, in that case, we'll need to, as a whole, step up, as it were. We can't remain on the sidelines for this particular fight. If we
Indeed.
wish to keep a reputation, we need to make a stance. We don't have. I doubt we'll have to throw our lot completely in on one side or the other, but we could so even the minor support pledges of fealty of support would do as a whole. However, if we wish to really excel, pull ourselves ahead, we'll need to convince our leaders that throwing our lot into the with the Carthian movement may be for the best interest, at least for the time being. With the other three covenants all in line against the Invictus, us joining at the last moment, dragging our feet, may be a problem.
Well, the fact that we're part of the atrocities already don't want us to be around anymore, or at least not as trustworthy.
Hmm. I'll leave this all up to Marcus. Mr. Irons is better at the whole wordy Jean Mazurque thing than I am.
He's better with people, but he admits himself he's not a politician.
I am not either. I am simply the one who watches.
As always, time will tell.
Gives a small shrug. So, anyways, now that this has happened, and then gestures to him and you, or himself, then Goodman, and then back to him, and this as well. I should admit the task I've been given that I may need your assistance for has to do with this whole silly war. I've been asked to work on dismantling Gauntlet.
I see. And they just want the place to be physically destroyed. They don't want it like undermine it or anything.
Oh, they've given me full reign of what to do. They just don't want um, it operating on the Invictus side during this entire war. I plan on undermining it, um, dismantling it from the inside. Typical wet work sort of deal. However, if I have need for muscle or for a good distraction, I may call upon you.
I can do that.
Meantime, you making nice with Bainforth may be good. I get the feeling the man doesn't really like me. And you're more of a people person.
You're right.
If we can get if I can get his help, if he can be the public face of all this, even better for me. The question is, do we dismantle it, destroy it, or should I steal it?
That'll be up for you to decide.
Gives a small shrug. Anyways, this has been a lovely talk. I hope I've cleared up some stuff for you. but the night's wasting away. Do you have any other questions for me? Concerns?
No, I do not. You helped me today. Thank you.
Glad to be of service. Gives a small bow and vanishes.
Julian kind of blinks at the empty space and kind of scratches at his head in thought about the relatively impressive display of obfuscate, but thinks much not about, doesn't think too hard about it, begins walking back down
Right.
to the ground level. Eh, And with that, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Have a good morning, evening, or night.